Today I'm going to remove and replace my kitchen faucet. The great thing is that I'm going to save a lot of money doing it myself. And if you're ready to change your faucet, follow along with me and I'll show you how to do it step by step. First thing to do is shut off the water valves under the sink. I have quarter turn valves and the left one is the hot water and the right one's for the cold. Now I'll just do a quick check to make sure the water is off. At this point, a bucket or towel will come in handy to catch excess water that will likely drip down as I'm working. To remove the water supply tubes, use a wrench to loosen the nuts so they can be disconnected from the valves. And because I have a bucket underneath, I'm ready for any remaining water that's going to drip out of these tubes. For this next part, your faucet hardware is going to look different from mine, but the process is going to be similar. And over the many years I've had this, I've actually forgotten what brand of faucet that I have. But first I'm going to remove the hose for the faucet handle. And then I'll loosen the two Phillips screws for the retaining ring. This part is going to be the most difficult because there isn't much room to work here. But now I'll use a wrench to loosen the nut holding the faucet to the counter. Once it's out, the retaining ring will slip right off. Next, I'll disconnect the water supply lines from the copper tubes extending out from the bottom of the faucet. The next thing I need to do is remove the weight connected to the sprayer tube. Now I'll disconnect the sprayer head from the extension tube and pull it all the way out. And now I can wiggle the old faucet base out from the counter. So now I can start unpacking my new Moen kitchen faucet. The first thing I need is the small rubber gasket. And I'll slip this over the supply tubes that are connected to the base of the faucet. There's actually a little groove that this will fit into. Now here, I only have one opening in my counter, but if yours has 3 holes, then you'll need this faceplate to cover the unused openings. Okay, next I'll insert all the tubing into the hole in the countertop. And in my case, ignore the opening on the left. That's where I used to have a recessed soap dispenser that I removed. To get the faucet in the rest of the way, it's going to be a very snug fit, but with gentle pressure and some wiggling, it should go in no problem. Next, I'll need the new retaining ring and small plastic nut. The retaining ring will slip onto the long threaded tube. Push this all the way to the top. Now twist on the plastic nut and finger tighten it against the retaining ring. At this point, check the alignment of the faucet base. If it looks good, then grab the plastic tool included in the box. This will slip over the threaded tube and onto the nut. But once it's on, use a screwdriver to help twist and tighten the nut. This will secure the faucet to the countertop. Now on the sprayer head, I'll pop off the protective cap. Then I'll grab the extension tube and connect it to the sprayer. Next, I can take the cap off the other end and insert the tube into the faucet base. Back under the cabinet, I'll slip on the plastic collar over the extension tube, and at the top I'll twist it in place. This helps prevent wear of the extension tube whenever the sprayer head is pulled out. Now take the weight and slip it over the sprayer tube. And on this Moen model, it has an easy snap-on connector. But make sure you hear it click in. And at this point, the weight will be suspended by the tubing. Now I can reconnect the supply lines. I find that working under the sink is not exactly fun, mainly because it's so cramped in here, but hopefully my tutorial will help make it easier for you to do. Make sure these are snug, but do not over tighten the nuts. Again, there's not much room to work under here, so just be patient. When these are secure, I can safely reopen the valves. And here's a quick check to make sure it's working properly. Also at this time, take a look under the cabinet to see if there are any leaks. I know replacing a kitchen cabinet can look like an intimidating job, but as you can see, it's not too difficult to do. But if you can do it yourself, you can save a lot of money. If you like the look of the Moen faucet I'm using, I'll list it in the description so it's easy for you to find. And here's a final note. There's an included sticker printed with a model number that I can attach under the cabinet. I really appreciate that because, as mentioned before, I had no idea what brand of faucet I previously had. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all my DIY videos.